Well, this is the chapter of my memories about my high school years. From the age of 14, the evolution only mentioned during the period of elementary and middle school underwent an acceleration that led me to abandon life in common with my brothers and to see as a sort of violation of my intimacy also friendship with my new classmates. I will never be able to see myself as the others. Something was wrong with me. My real universe was developing in some other world, in a dimension to which, for some divine punishment, I had no access. Who were those two people who had given birth to me and who didn't even calculate me their life? They played to show themselves as a standard couple, responsible and modestly happy in front of the outside world, while at home nobody loved anyone, nobody cared about the happiness of us children. At the same time, the devil fed on my rancor, on the psychological violence to which my pseudo-parents subjected me. I was aware that the personal relationships were not normal. I saw my cousins playing with each other, saying I love you to their parents, not having trouble hugging each other and exchanging caresses and affection. Why had my mother never hugged me in my life? Why on earth had my father told me, "How are you?" One day my mother would have said to me, "It is you who don't remember. As a child I hugged you. I held you in my arms. Does it matter anything? Does it matter for a mother to pet her baby son at 1 year old like a baby doll and then throw him away as soon as he learns to walk? Let's admit that at some point in my life I hit my head. Let's admit that one day I began to accumulate only hatred and malice. What right did my first educator, those parents responsible for the psychophysical development of their child, have to close their eyes and let life be doing? And while I no longer knew how to manage that enormous anger that devoured my brain like a monster, living in books was a solution, but then I still didn't have all the defenses I have now. I hadn't given up on the world yet. I still like to give in to the temptation to follow my brother's games. It was Pietro who was the first to suffer from my psychic disturbances when it became possible to keep the mask of the good submissive boy and victim of the oak father. I hated Pietro. I unconsciously made him pay for the violence that I was forced to suffer from above. One evening I remember that after the tribal quarrel I started by beating him with a plastic stick. "Why don't you die? Why don't you throw yourself under a train?" Yeah, it came from my heart. I was the only one speaking the same sadistic child who one day had watched Bunny's barn alive. Mad with terror, I was afraid, but soon Pietro and I mended relations. Um, After a few months, I still attacked him with insults when he teased me for a banality, a very common joke between brothers. It must be said that even then we had long ago stopped our childhood games. Pietro was developing his own personality, clearly dark and masculine, far from my magical and still naive sentimentality. We became suspicious, misunderstood for each other. In the end, after yet another quarrel, the affection we still could have for each other died out completely. I would never speak to him again, even if at first I might have been tempted. We still slept in the same room, we still played on the same computer. He never took any steps towards me. My mother obviously took his side, advising me to stay away from him because she already knew, according to her, that I had something wrong. The first piece of my family life thus was detached forever from my life. Since that afternoon, 23 years ago, I have never looked my brother Pietro in the eye. In fact, who can say that unconsciously I didn't act for the best? Maybe I had already upset my brother enough. Perhaps if I had persevered in mending relations with him, I would have done nothing but traumatize him and make a life even more problematic that even he didn't have easy with my father. In the family, things kept getting worse and worse. By now, the table of my father had become a nightmare. Since I had started to eat less and less, his insults had gone from fat pig of shit to anorexic, disgusting body. What could I do? If the more I persevered, the more my stomach closed. I couldn't ask my mother for help because every time I tried, her answer was always the same. Thank God you don't have a father who straps you. Back in my day, and she continued. It was true. That never beat me to death. Who has violated my psyche? Who cares? In the future, it wouldn't even matter to the psychotherapist I asked for help. So, let alone if an ignorant peasant girl might feel compelled to do something. One night at dinner, angry at yet another piece of meat that I didn't want to swallow because it would have made me a gram or two fat, my father exploded and slapped me. I had a hysterical fit. I threw a tray of glasses on the ground. From that moment, very right, some readers would consider and I take note, my parents pounced on me like beasts. Beaten by my father, my mother held me still and urged him. Stronger, stronger, Artemy, let's finish it once and for all. Then, when Dad got tired, my mom threw a bottle of cold water on me. I wondered why, apparently to calm me down, because in the meantime I didn't stop crying and screaming. Who was I? Who were those beasts that instead of sending me away after the customary slap, still persisted in eating me, insulting me, humiliating me with water and spit? My brothers were trembling with their faces bent over the plate, my mother literally foaming with hunger. That was the umpteenth time I saw her take off their masks and reveal the beast inside. For the first time, I wanted to kill her too. Not just my father's crisis of criminal madness I was used to. In short, on that evening 22 years ago, a line had been crossed. I lost the father and mother I still hoped to have, and I became an orphan at the age of 16. Thank you for listening, and see you in the next video.